Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Cole, and tonight I've decided to try and image the Whirlpool Galaxy M51. Wish me luck. Alright then guys, so what kind of equipment am I using tonight? As in my last video, I decided to try and image the Heart Nebula, but this is a galaxy, so the nebula which I imaged last time was a lot wider, so I used my smaller refractor FRA 400 telescope, which is an ASCAR telescope. Tonight, I've got the Celestron 6-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, which has a focal length of 1,500 millimeters, but I have a focal reducer in there which brings it down to 945 millimeters. This means that the amount of light I can gather per second is much faster and better. Now, I also have another piece of equipment which I've decided to use today, specifically for the 6-inch SCT telescope, and that is this black piece of equipment right here. This is an off-axis guider made by Celestron, and this red thing here, if you can see it, is the guide camera I have. That is an ASI 220 mini camera. That camera has some ports which connect to the laptop and back to the mount, and this laptop is currently auto guiding and sending corrective signals back to that mount to make sure that it is tracking the stars perfectly. Now, the off-axis guider itself has a tiny little mirror inside of it which reflects a certain bit of the light which is coming in from this telescope. So the light is being reflected up this way into this camera to this laptop, which has got a software running, and it sends the signal back to the mount, telling it where it needs to be. That's pretty smart stuff. Just to better show you all, here is the auto guiding. At the moment we've got just about 1 arc second, so this is pretty good guiding. And over here we've got the 6-inch Celestron Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, my HEQ5 Pro mount, the Celestron reducer sitting in there right next to that telescope. We've got the off-axis guider, and this is the thing which has the little mirror inside of it reflecting light into this camera. And then we also have the DSLR on the bottom. Now, again in my last video, I used a Batonov mask to focus my ASCAR FRA 400 small refractor telescope. Now, that's about the size of my hand here, and if I were to try and put that on the end of this telescope, it's not going to work. So I've got this fun little toy here. It's simply a much bigger Batonov mask, and it works the exact same way. And you would put it onto the end of this telescope. It would then create diffraction spikes on the stars in that camera, and by using that I can focus it perfectly for the rest of the night, assuming there's no temperature changes, as if there's a temperature change the mirrors will alter slowly and the focus will change. Alright then guys, so how exactly am I actually going to take this image of the Whirlpool Galaxy tonight? So I've obviously got the DSLR attached to the end of the telescope, and attached to the DSLR is an intervalometer. An intervalometer is a remote hand controller which I use to actually open the shutter of the camera remotely. Why is that important? Now, if this camera is attached to the telescope, this is shooting at 945 millimeters of focal length, which, if you didn't know, is a very tiny point in the sky. And if I were to touch that camera screen I could potentially shake it and lose my target, which is not what I want. Now, on the camera itself, I'm going to be shooting at ISO 800, and on my intervalometer, I've got this set to 7-minute exposures. I personally found this to work quite well last night in test shots, as this is the second night of imaging. I've already got about 37 shots, and they all look very, very good, which I'm very pleased with. Now, to just ensure that my target is framed correctly, I've got my intervalometer and I've got my DSLR set to a high ISO. So if we let this go for maybe 10 seconds. You should now see we've got the Galaxy framed right in the center there. The final thing, which I actually wanted to bring up with you all as well, is Galaxies, unlike the Heart Nebula, are a broadband target. Now, what does this mean? A broadband target emits light in the entire spectrum, whereas the Heart Nebula was only a hydrogen alpha emission target, or mostly. There are a couple of other ones in there, but that's for another day. So we've got no filter in here in this imaging tray. That's the last point I really wanted to bring up with this tonight. So I'm ready to image. I've already got the Whirlpool Galaxy set up in there. Let's get going. I'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, I'm ready to start imaging. Everything is perfect tonight. We've got the Big Dipper up there, and the Whirlpool Galaxy just sits right on the end. And away we go. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing okay. So I finished imaging the Whirlpool Galaxy a couple of nights ago, and in the United Kingdom we've had many clear nights since then. So I spent 2 nights imaging another galaxy which is directly next to it, known as the Pinwheel Galaxy, classified in the Messier class as M101. So today, because of this, I will be showcasing not only the Whirlpool Galaxy, I will also be showcasing the Pinwheel Galaxy, which has got an equal amount of time and exposure as the Whirlpool Galaxy, which I got a couple of nights ago. So here are the final images. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you guys later.